once-in-a-lifetime experience, certainly this. And it's made sweeter, and it's made more meaningful. It's made utterly trustworthy, because it has been organised by people I've known for a lifetime and myself. And their parents before them, a lot of them. Diamonds, and Scullions, and Grahams, and Overhams, and Mulhollands, just to mention the names immediately associated with the Development Association and the Bond. They're part of my childhood, and in that way, they're part of eternity, because I think what's in your mind as a youngster stays with you as a kind of eternal presence. So this is a great moment. I feel it belongs to the district and to the people here as much as to myself, much as I am honoured by the praise. David Anand very beautifully, as a tribute and skillfully as a piece of work, made a resemblance between the head on my sculpture and my own head, this kind of ancestral head. It goes back to Heaney's Scullions, right back into the Mesolithic times, I think. But he said to me just now, and I understood why he said it to me, he said, I was going to make the head a bit bigger, he said, but maybe now it's big enough, after hearing all the praise. So it has been, as I say, a magnificent moment. The great thing about this sculpture is that there's nobody that doesn't know what turf is in this district. There's nobody that doesn't know what a spade is. And it seems to be, with the schools here, there's nobody that doesn't know who I am either. So I'm deeply grateful. As I said before, it's the right thing, completely the right thing, in the right place. An image of a man digging turf anywhere in the world would have been a delight to me. But on this spot, at this corner, beside the Bellaghy Bond, it is deeply significant. Bellaghy Bond, as many of you know, used to be the dispensary doctor used to live up here. And Dr. Francis Thompson was a dispensary doctor when I was delivered up in Moss Bond, Family Iron, the other end of the parish. Bellaghy's all very fine, but I came to very near Castle Dawson, so I have to keep all that very clear. And I see the brook represented behind me here, so I've got to watch out. But anyway, it was Dr. Francis from the dispensary who delivered me, and she always, according to my mother, referred to me as one of her boys. So not only did the poem begin here, I got the notion of the poem coming around this corner, coming home from a dance, changing gear, going down from top to third to second, and somehow into my head became the idea of moving from one generation to the next generation to my generation, moving from working with the spade in the moss to working with the pen in the library or the study. So as I say, this isn't just a matter of tribute to the poem, it's a matter of deep belonging to this spot, this corner, and that it comes from, and was conceived of as a tribute by the Bellaghy Development Association, supported by the Marifelt Rural District Council, supported by the Department of the Environment, supported by the International Fund, supported by the Department of Social Services. It's an immensely significant thing. It's also a great joy to me that David Anand did the work. I have known his sculptures for some time now, and I've greatly admired not only the material triumph of the work itself, of the bronze likenesses, but I admire the conviction and commitment and attitude that he embodies himself. He said at one point, until the interest of an artist shifts from personal sensation to a sense of communal service, his work cannot grow. And I can't think of any better kind of maker to make this than somebody with that sense of community service. Because community is what it is about here today. And the Deputy First Minister spoke, and Minister Ritchie spoke powerfully well and truly about the shifts, movements, the good through otherness that begun. Not the standing apart, but the coming together, not necessarily to embrace each other, but to encounter each other, for dialogue, for not standing apart, but being through other in a good sense. And that is what not only the association represents, but it's what working in the mosque represented. People going out, working together in a, thank goodness, a sunny day like this. The great thing about working in turf was you couldn't go out when it was raining. Well, you could go out, but there wasn't much sense in going out when it was raining. So your memories of the place were always sunlit. And people would tend to be in good form, good social form, behaving themselves well, bantering, good crack. And that kind of trust in each other, and trust in the possibilities of good work, trust in a common purpose, in companionship, that can stand as a model, not only for the aims and achievements of the Bellaghy Development Association, but for the very great achievement politically made by all parties here in this Northern Ireland in the last few years. So it's a triumph of a day and a joy. I think also cultural activity of the sort associated with the bond, the kind of outreach programs that have been going on here, they also help to create a mood of coming and going, give and take, trust. It's hard to survive maybe economically. Things are going down. We hear a lot about the economic downturn and the crisis economically and so on. But what is important in these situations is attitude and readiness. It's what you can bring up from inside you to face what's outside you. I always think of something that the writer John McGahern, who was a countryman himself from a district not unlike our own here, his neighbour was a bone setter called the bone setter Woods, and he was always quoting the bone setter. And what the bone setter said to John could apply to us in our new global international economic crisis as well as our local worries. The bone setter said to John at one point, "Aye, John," he said, "aye, times are hard, but we're hard too." So I think that there's also an element of kindness here today, not just hardness. Hard and ready to bear, but kindness, community, and immense trustworthiness. So I am more than thankful. And the only thing I have to punish you with is, I think I better read or say the poem Digging to get it over. Between my finger and my thumb, the squat pen rests, snug as a gun. Under my window, a keen rasping sound, when the spade sinks into gravelly ground. My father, digging. I look down till his straining rump among the flower beds bends low, comes up 20 years away, stooping in rhythm through potato drills, where he was digging. The coarse boot nestled in the lug. The shaft against the inside knee was levered firmly. He rooted out tall tops, buried the bright edge deep to scatter new potatoes that we picked, loving their cool hardness in our hands. By God, the old man could handle a spade, just like his old man. My grandfather cut more turf in a day than any other man on Toner's bog. Once I carried him milk in a bottle, corked sloppily with paper. He straightened up to drink it, then fell to right away, nicking and slicing neatly, heaving sods over his shoulder, going down and down for the good turf, digging. The cool smell of potato mould, the squelch and slap of soggy peat, the curt cuts of a nade through living roots awaken in my head. But I have no spade to follow men like them. between my finger and my thumb, the squat pen rests. I'll dig with it. And I have to say, this man will dig for a long time. I really love the sculpture because, like the man it represents, and like the Bellaghy Development Association, it means business in all senses. It's hard at work, it's honest to God, it's down to earth, it's getting on with the job, and that is absolutely what we are all involved with as a society, as a community, as individuals. So, thanks for everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, Seamus Heaney.
I don't call it the labour of love, but I always think there's a difference between labour and work. Because if you labour, you just waste, it just goes and goes and goes. But if you make it work, you get something back, you know. And I think there's a fantastic amount of labour went into it, but there's work remaining at the end of it. And it's coming, it gives back. So that is the richness of, and for, I hope for Helen, certainly for the rest of us, and I hope that it will travel beyond here. I mean, it's too good to, not too good for Bellaghy, but it's too good just to dwell once and be seen around it. So it's an extraordinary event. I saw some of Helen's work when we came here a couple of years ago, yeah, and she had interpreted with thread work and needlework and patchwork.
That's right.
Different poems, and then I was so excited, I think that she got excited herself, and this has been the result. And I know she's been working on it now for the best part of 2 years.
Oh no, 14 months.
14 months.
I started on the 1st of February 2008,
Yeah.
and I finished at the end of the first week in March.
Well. I wrote to her and said she was like Penelope, you know, except that Penelope had to, thanks a lot. Penelope wove the thing, but then she unwove it. But at least there was an end in sight for her. But this is a magnificent end, and I really wanted to have all at once today. A man with 2 horses ploughing, and the other was a man on top of a load of turf coming home from the horse. And this was actually thread work, drawn thread. And so the turf and the thread and the man and the artist here all come together here, so great pleasure. Also, I was remembering my only connection with thread in a deep sense. My Aunt Sally was a great thread woman. She was a great handiwork person, and she would have really made it well here today. But also, my father always said that my great-grandfather was a journeyman tailor from the north of the mountain, from Bellaghy. And I always loved him with his threads. So I wrote out the poem for you there of the threads. So we'll get to that later. That was great. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I never quite said that. But
That's beautiful.
It's
That's beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Of course, he said it's beautiful. I
Very
don't know, I
good.
think it's very
It's not just a character.
And I have the explanation for that. And that's favor and I took the idea of anointing and oil from the sunflower and the circle, you know, the I've never shown
Okay, just one more, Helen. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Understand where
I
it
know.
comes from.
That's good.
So,
You did it yourself?
yeah.
Good for you.
Children,
It would be a surprise. Samuel Beckett said a disaster. He called it a disaster. But he's a very private man. Yeah. So, when I heard about it, I said to Christopher Friendly, and we were away in Greece, we were lost for 2 days.
Yeah, right,
So he was going through it, and I said, you better tell your mother.
And I said, is this a joke? I really did think. The other,
Those were yesterday morning.
I'm not allowed to say that Beckett and Seamus both were born on the 13th of April. Plus the French one this year also is the 13th of April. Really? Oh, literature.
Coincidence.
A coincidence. That's good.
No cause and effect. You know.
maximum 9.
This speak on things like
Well,
thinking about your own
thank you.
Recollections of it as good as you did it.
That's new.
Why there's a
Stamps.
Yeah.
I don't